Good evening. My name is Thurman Greco, and this program is coming to you from scenic downtown Woodstock on Channel 23. And it's also coming to you from YouTube. And we meet once a week and we interview people who are from the Woodstock area. And I am donating all of my weeks this year to the Mowers Meadow Saturday, Sunday flea market, because I have been going there for several years and the people there are so special. And so we have a guest this evening that we have never had before who does have a booth at the Mowers Market flea market, and she does a variety of things, and so we've put a little bit of everything out here on the table. But she can be found at the flea market in the summertime. Would you tell people, what is your name?
So my name is Grace Peterson, and I do a lot of different things. I'm an author, I am a teacher, I make jewelry, I make teddy bears. I dabble in a little bit of everything.
Let's start with the book.
Okay.
Woodstock has a lot of writers. Tell me about the book.
So the book is a first of its kind. There were no books like this until I wrote it. This book deals with termination for medical reasons of a pregnancy, as well as pregnancy after that termination loss. It is my story. It is the actual story of what I went through, losing my daughter and having my son, and him getting very sick as a newborn and almost dying. And all of that is in here, and I wrote it because it didn't exist for me, and I know there are people out there that need it, so I wanted to share my story with others as hope and support.
You know, that's very interesting. And it is true that people who lose their children to miscarriages do not really have an opportunity to grieve with others. There are no books. There are very few organizations. So when you wrote this book, how long after the fact did you write it?
About 5 months after my son was born. So it was about a year and a half after I lost my daughter to trisomy 18. And it was suggested to me by a crisis worker. I was having such a difficult time dealing with the emotions of my son being hospitalized and the combination of the joy and the fear of being pregnant after termination for medical reasons. And this crisis worker said, write it down. Just write down your story, even if it's just for yourself. Write it down. And I did. That's exactly what I did. This started off as a journal project, just for myself, and I always say, I accidentally became an author.
Did you ever go to a writing group at all?
No.
So you got no outside input into this book?
As far as editing?
Yeah, it's the editing and the story progression and that sort of thing.
So I did have editors and beta readers. I did test reads. I did all the things.
How did you come about to do those things? How did that happen?
So I tried submitting to several different publishing houses. I submitted to about 20 different publishing houses, and they all rejected me. And I was very frustrated because, unlike stillbirth and miscarriage, this deals with termination for medical. So my daughter had a fatal fetal diagnosis. She was not going to survive to gestation. If she did, at most she would live 30 days, and the pain and suffering of everybody was just not an option. And that's, nobody really wanted to touch it. They're like, it's a sad story, it's a very compelling story, but. And then a friend of mine suggested, why don't you self-publish on Amazon?
But now did you ever read pieces of this to a group of people?
Not yet.
You did not?
Not yet.
So this book, when it came into being, came from your heart to the book.
Yep.
There was no audience, there was nobody saying, well, but that word wasn't right.
Yep.
So how did you decide to start the book?
I started with the part that was the most compelling to me. So the thing that I wanted to discuss the most is where I started, and that was my son's hospitalization. He had flu B, he was in respiratory distress, and he had SVT. And he got airlifted from one hospital to another. They kept having to use adenosine to stop his heart, to restart it, to get it back to a normal rhythm, because his tachycardia was reaching about 300. And it was just so stress-inducing. I had already lost my daughter, and now I was afraid I was going to lose my son too. And I just picked that, and I started writing, and then I would add to the beginning, to the end. I really just wrote about whatever I wanted to at that time until it turned into a book.
Did you ever have, at a point where you said you started with your son, so you had to go back in time for the daughter. So was time a challenge to you as a writer?
Not really. I lost my daughter in January of 2019, and I had my son in December of 2019, almost exactly a year after losing her. So it was unfortunately very fresh in my mind, and I had kept journals of a lot of things during that time as well, so I just kind of cross-referenced all the dates and added them in.
And did you when you wrote your journals, did you use a notebook and paper? Did you use a computer? What did you do? We always want to know. Writers always want to know. Well, how do you do it?
I wrote it on my phone.
Oh, very good.
I wrote it in the notes section of my phone, and I did it while I nursed my son. So I would literally sit with my son in my lap nursing, and I would just tap away writing my book. So I literally wrote it on my phone. And
you're not the first person that has done that. I've interviewed several people that have done that. I write at the computer, at a desk.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to the point where I'm that comfortable with the phone yet. But there are some people who like to work with pen and ink and that sort of thing. And so from start to finish, do you know how long that book took?
I started it in May of 2020, and it was published in May of 2022.
2 years.
Yeah.
And you said you went to Amazon?
Yeah, I went through Amazon self-publishing, Kindle Direct printing.
And so, do you know how many words there are?
I want to say there's about 50,000.
50,000 words.
Yeah.
And who did the cover?
That cover is an artist. She's listed on the inside cover.
Yes.
Anne Corrig.
Is she local?
I believe she's in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yes. So what happened, I had my date to release my book already ready. I was doing stuff online, and I didn't quite have a cover, and I was like, oh my gosh. She does a lot of work with, artwork with pregnancy loss, pregnancy after loss.
Oh, so that's her field.
It really is. And I had seen a different version of that picture, and I was like, I like it. And so I searched her pictures specifically, and I saw that one, and I just said, it's perfect. I have to have that for my book cover. So I messaged her, and I said, could I use it? And she said yes, and to give her credit for the artwork on the inside cover, which I did.
Well, yeah, the art, that's rare, very, very interesting. The writer gets the cover and all the pages and all the words and everything in between, but the illustrator gets one line inside about 2 pages in. And then you went to Amazon. And you tried submitting your book. And do you feel, where did you find the companies to send your book to, your proposal to?
This friend of mine, a childhood friend of mine, is an author, and she has her own publishing company, but she does true crime. So she told me about a website where you can it's like a Facebook for authors and publishers and publishing houses and what they're looking for. So she sent me that way, and I just kind of ran through looking for everything I could and just threw out my query letter to everybody that kind of matched up with what.
Did anybody, what I'm trying to get to, do you feel like that anybody in that list really responded to you as an individual?
No.
No.
I think it was just a stock letter of, great story, but thank you and no thank you. And
Did you take any writing classes anywhere?
So not really. I've been a writer a lot of my life. I did a lot of poetry and short stories and essays and things like that. And as a high school student, I wrote a poem to Elie Wiesel, who had written the book Night, and he wrote back to me. And that was really kind of like the turning point. I've been featured in Who's Who Among American Poets and other things like that, but never really took writing classes.
So you are really definite, you are not an entry-level writer, is what this may be your first book, but you really aren't. You've been writing all of your life.
Yep.
And that sort of thing,
Yeah.
I started writing, I blogged my first book, and then I wrote another book, a totally different book, and I took a lot of writing classes, and I feel like this is the way we're going now. What does your true crime writer friend think?
Of my book?
No, that we're going more towards individual. We really are not. I mean, it's just really easier to do this on your own than it is to try to get.
It is easier. I have to admit, I felt a little defeated doing self-publishing because I wanted so much for a publishing house to pick up my book and say, wow, this is amazing, it's compelling, it's gut-wrenching and loving and supporting. I wanted them to say all of the things about this, and they're like, great story, but we don't really think we can use this.
It's not down our lane.
But the thing is, the need is there. The need for this type of book is there, not just because I experienced it firsthand, but doing some research online, there are so many groups out there on Facebook, on Instagram, and all over the place that have messages like this that are there to support other mothers who have gone through loss, whether it be stillbirth or a miscarriage, or in my case, termination for medical reasons. There are so many organizations out there, and their members are in the tens of thousands. And I think about that, like, there are tens of thousands of people in the United States alone.
Readers.
Yes.
Readers.
Yes. And I think to myself, this is an untouched gold mine to get.
Right. Especially now with all the politicians pulling and pushing and shoving and stuffing and I believe this is a highly, highly political front burner.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I was really exploring that with you.
Yeah.
Because we all know a lot of stories.
Yes.
Not even looking, we know a lot of stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so now where can people get this book?
It is on Amazon. That's all it is available right now, just on Amazon.
You cannot get it from you at the market?
You can.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So
Yes,
copies can be had at the market. Saturday and Sunday, Mowers Meadow Flea Market. You know, there are several, when you go through that market, there are several people who have got copies of books at their booths. And it's really interesting because when I first started, now it's been a long time that I've been doing the Mowers Meadow Flea Market. When I first started, I didn't see any books. And they're there.
They are.
Woodstock is filled with writers, and good writers. I mean, here you are. We should take more advantage of this. So I think this is wonderful.
Thank you.
So tell me, what made you decide to get a booth at the Mowers Meadow Flea Market?
I wanted to sell my jewelry, I wanted to sell my teddy bears, I wanted to promote my book, and just kind of have fun and make money all at the same time, and that's really how it started. A coworker of mine said, "You've got to go to the Mowers Flea Market."
Really?
Yes. And she said, you have to go. It's a great place because the type of jewelry I make, she said that a lot of people are going to love it because it's simple and classy and elegant, and it'd be a great place to show off the book as well.
So you're there.
I am.
And now you are, of course, because you're kind of new, probably going to be at a different place every time.
Probably.
I know the first 2 or 3 years that I was at the Mowers Meadow Flea Market, I was at a different. It took me years for John Maurer to find a place that he would let me come back to a second time. I mean, it's like I just was burning locations left and right because I don't know why. It just didn't. So I finally have been very, very happy where I am. But so you may be at a different place.
I might be.
At the next time. But people like to get jewelry at the Mowers Meadow Flea Market. They're happy to buy your books, and we haven't even talked about the bears. I mean, this is something. You know what? This is really interesting because what you do is unique, it's individual, it's personal, it's intimate, and it is on demand. So that all of the things, except for the book, which you can go and get, but all of the jewelry and the bears, you can get personalized, and not just by somebody signing their name. These are all personally selected, handmade items with a person in mind. And where are you going to get that anywhere else? Really? That's right. That's right.
I dare you to find it, also at a reasonable price.
Yeah. That is, we don't even, the prices at Mowers are so good
Yes.
that there's the Russian lady, Olga. Olga has been at Mowers Meadow for, I don't know, 6-8 years. And she dresses her children there, she dresses herself. Anytime she wants anything, she gets it at Mowers Meadow. She goes there first because she knows that's where she's going to get the most for her money. But let's go back here to these bears. Now I'm just captivated by these bears because they are so darling. So tell me about these bears, and can I come with a fabric and get a bear?
Yes. So the teddy bears were made originally in honor of my father-in-law who passed away. I had made one for my mother-in-law out of his shirt, and it was so loved by her children and the grandchildren that a year later, when they did a memorial service for him, I decided to make teddy bears for all of the children and grandchildren. So this bear right here this is the one I made for my son. And the arms are the same shirt that I used for my mother-in-law's teddy bear. And he was a Harley rider, so I made sure to include the tag.
Oh, how cute.
All of the fabric was shirts that he had worn, and the button eyes were also from the shirts. I don't generally put buttons on the other bears unless requested because it can kind of be a choking hazard.
But you also were, are there any other reason why you don't do buttons?
Oh yes, because these are what I call comfort bears, and comfort bears don't need to see or speak, they just need to hear. Because they're there to hold you and comfort you in your time of need, and that's why they have the big squishy ears.
To me, that is just the most adorable thing in the whole world. Times are so stressful. It's like every time we turn on the television or ride down the road, it's the radio, and it's worse and worse. Today is worse than yesterday, and I thought nothing could be worse than yesterday. Wait till tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And so, we need these bears. Yes. We need these bears. The bear doesn't need to do anything but listen.
Yep.
Poor thing, But so that's the job. Yep. That's the job. So you make these bears. Mm-hmm. Do you have any samples that, if somebody just wants to I've just got to get a Care Bear for somebody. Yeah. You do have some samples that are there.
Yep,
okay.
I do. So the bears can be made from fabric from people that have passed, or just to honor somebody. I've had people ask me if they could give me clothing from their children and make a bear for their child. And I said, absolutely. And as it turns out, I made 3 teddy bears out of baby blankets from the hospital. And I had a shirt from the grandfather who had passed away. And I made a heart on each of the bears with their initial. And that way there it was the child's baby blanket, and the heart was from the grandfather. So it kind of brought in a bunch of extra things.
That is just so lovely. That is so special. I am so happy you brought the bears today.
And the bears that you said, if somebody wants to just buy one, I do use my clothing, my husband's clothing, my son's clothing, my family's clothing. So basically anybody who helped and supported me in my story is part of the bears, so that I'm there to help and support others, and so are the people that helped and supported me. So it's kind of like that ripple of support and kindness.
Isn't that wonderful? Oh, this is so necessary. Well, now let's talk about the jewelry.
Okay.
Now you've got a couple of different kinds of jewelry here. Mm-hmm. What have you got?
So I'm going to start with this one right here. This is my Trisomy 18 awareness necklace, which I am also wearing myself. As mentioned, I lost my daughter to Trisomy 18, and I knew nothing about it until all of a sudden my daughter was diagnosed with it. It is a fatal fetal diagnosis. Survival is less than 5% to gestation. So I sell these necklaces in honor of my daughter. So a portion of each one goes to the Trisomy 18 Foundation in her honor, to raise awareness and help with research and
Are there enough people to have a Trisomy Foundation organization?
Yeah, the Trisomy 18 Foundation is already in existence. That's where I send the donations.
Where is it located?
It's just online. I don't know if they have an actual headquarters. I think if they did, I think it's in Maryland or something. I'm not completely sure, but Trisomy, if you go online and look up the Trisomy 18 Foundation.
It is there.
It is there.
And do you know how long it's been in existence?
I don't. because like I said, I knew nothing about it until all of a sudden
Is it in the book?
It is not.
Oh, it is not in the book.
It is
Okay.
not in the book, but I think I have a link for it on my link tree on my Instagram account.
If it is near Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Northern Virginia, the Northern Virginia suburbs and the Maryland suburbs, that is the central location on the planet for organizations. 501(c)(3). If you are a nonprofit, you have got an office there. I mean, that's because that's where all the laws are made, and so they're right there to to hawk their to push their opinions and wares and how they're needed. And obviously that's a very serious organization.
It is.
So have you found other people through this process?
I have found a few other people through the process. I'm still very much in the beginning stages of everything that I'm doing. So I'm still doing a lot of networking and researching. But finding the Trisomy 18 Foundation and the Trisomy 18 is also called Edwards syndrome. I know they just did, I want to say a soap opera, just did an episode or a series with that particular diagnosis.
To highlight it.
Yeah.
And of course now, any kind of attention and highlighting that you give to any kind of a situation like that is very political, and it's politicized, and it's controversial and scary and all of those things. So we're talking about a very serious situation.
Yes.
And you chose that necklace to be the necklace that you sell to promote the foundation.
Yes.
And people can get it there.
Yep, it is available at Mowers Flea Market, and I will have a website coming soon called giggleandpoo.com.
Okay.
And this, my Trisomy 18 necklace and my bears will be available on giggleandpoo.com.
Oh, how adorable. So this will be, hopefully, but not right now, but you can get it through the summer, and then hopefully by the end of the flea market, you can get it through the the website. Now, what about the other jewelry?
So the other jewelry is just fun stuff that I like to do. I basically take a bead pin and I put beads on it, and I look at it and go, nah, and then I take them off and I put more on, and I just kind of throw things together until it works. And I specifically design them to be elegant enough to wear for a formal or special occasion, but practical enough that you can wear them every day.
Wow.
That's what GPE stands for. Glamorous, practical, every day.
Oh, how cute. Oh, that's adorable. So these are some of the GPE things you've made.
Yes. All of these are GPE designs. And they're also very fidget friendly.
Fidget friendly.
Yes. So fidget friendly, meaning you can kind of play with the beads, and it's satisfying.
Oh, I see what you did. That's cute.
Yes.
How adorable.
Most all of my GPE designs are fidget friendly. So if you're a person that likes to fidget with your jewelry, they have a lot of movement in them.
Oh, that's darling. Well, so it's very, all of these things are definitely practical. They all have a spiritual component because they deal with the situation that you are trying to showcase, and they comfort. So, and you're going to be at the Mowers Meadow on Saturday and Sunday?
Definitely at least Saturdays.
Saturdays predominantly, but sometimes Sundays too. Okay,
because I do have a little 5-year-old at home, so.
there are a lot of little 5-year-olds that come to the flea market.
Yes.
I call them free range. We have a lot of free range children who are at the market every weekend. And I think that these children who come with their parents to the flea market are getting an education that they can only get there.
Mm-hmm.
They are seeing the best of humanity.
Yes.
Because the people that are there, a lot of people, well, it's not surprising because times are being what they're being. Mm-hmm. Times being what they are, a lot of people come into the flea market because they're shell-shocked and they're walking around. And they are upset. And they are just trying to calm down, the news is bad. But you also see a camaraderie there.
Yes.
People are comforted by being there. I see that all the time because I read the tarot cards and everybody stops at my booth and I see them being comforted. Mm-hmm. And there's not much in the way of food, although we do have a hot dog vendor who's fabulous. She's not there all the time. So she's not there early in the morning. Mm-hmm. But when she gets there, she fires up those hot dogs. And I always take a couple home to my husband and then rush back very quickly because I live about a block away.
Oh my gosh.
But truthfully, there are children that I have seen summer after summer after summer, and I am delighted to see them and how they have grown through the winter. Mm-hmm. And it's been great fun because they visit the different booths.
It's like an extra family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's been fabulous. So I can't think of a better way to entertain a child in the summer than through the flea market. Plus it's educational. I mean, there's just being around people, the socialization factor. Mm-hmm. I probably, when kids were socialized, I probably wasn't socialized. But there are children there who are super socialized. And they couldn't have got that super socialization anywhere else. So it's, and you know that because you teach schools sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I hope we get to see your son, your 5-year-old son.
He and my husband did come visit the first time that I was there, and it was funny where I was situated. I was near the road, and all of a sudden, I hear him go, "Hi, Mommy!" And he's standing there, and he's got his little lunch bag because he brought his lunch with him, and my husband had gotten me some lunch as well. So he just comes around the corner and says, "Hi, Mommy."
All right.
Yeah, so it was so much fun having him there. And,
yeah.
And visiting. He wanted to take one of the teddy bears home with him. He had the very first one I made, my prototype, he claimed as his own. And he has a special name for it, and he calls it Ooey.
Oh, he had Ooey.
He had, yes. So when he was looking, I think it was actually at that particular bear, he goes, "Ooey, what are you doing here?" I said, "That's not Ooey." And he goes, "Is it Owie?"
Owie.
Could be.
Well, if it's not Ooey, it's Owie.
Yeah.
Or Eewee, or whatever.
And
or
this is Grandpa Bear.
And this is Grandpa Bear.
Yeah.
I think this is wonderful. So we have you coming on Saturdays, predominantly Saturdays, but some Sundays. Mm-hmm. I'm coming Saturdays and Sundays, provided it doesn't rain. Every Saturday has been ruined,
wet.
But that's okay. I do have a tent top. Do you have a tent top?
I do.
Well, when I first started in Mowers Meadow, I somehow had no clue. I was clueless. And I just took a table and piled a bunch of stuff on top of it. And I didn't have a sign. I didn't have anything. And one of my neighbors brought a couple of chairs. And I didn't have a tent top for like maybe all summer I didn't have a tent top.
Oh, wow.
But we didn't have the rain that we've had this year. But now, after many years and many iterations of having a booth, I'm finally down to just the tarot. I did have a booth for several years in which I was selling books, and I had a booth in which I was selling vintage clothing, and I was trying to raise money to feed the hungry. So, because Woodstock has both a food pantry and a soup kitchen, so I was trying to do that. So, I certainly can identify with the book, you know, and I can identify with the organization, because that's one of the things that motivates us to do what we do. And it is those organizations which create our sense of community, which you find at the flea market. I haven't been to another flea market recently, so I don't know what they're like.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to open much sooner in the year than we do now, and stay open much later. We used to stay open past Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think one of the things that I have been thinking about doing and trying to do is talk to different vendors about putting little bitty Christmas trees, or a little bitty Christmas tree or a little Christmas ornament in your booth, to remind people that if you see something for Christmas shopping, do it now. Because Woodstock used to wait and do their Christmas shopping at the flea market after Thanksgiving. Well, we're long gone now. And so if you have a Christmas ornament or a little tiny tree, then you can remind people that, hey, especially your jewelry and the bears. Oh my goodness. Well, can people place orders?
Yes, they will be able to place orders through me at the flea market, and again, once my website is up and running.
Well, if they place an order with you at the flea market, can they pick it up the next week?
Yes, providing I have enough time, but I will also.
Well, you know, that's a really nice thing.
Yeah.
If you can place an order for a bear on Saturday and get it next Saturday, that's a big deal.
Might be 2 weeks at most, depending on how many orders I have. But yeah, I can turn it around in a week's time.
And each one is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So they get this individual, this totally unique bear. Oh, I think that's lovely. I think that's lovely.
And as you asked, can people give me fabric? Yes.
You do take donations of fabric?
I do. I take donations of fabric, but if you have like a shirt or a piece of clothing from a loved one and you want me to turn that into a bear or even part of a bear, I can. Cotton is preferred, nothing really stretchy or see-through.
No t-shirt material?
If it's t-shirt, it has to be like a heavy t-shirt.
Because
the thin ones are not so
then you
good.
have to do lining.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be too much. Yeah. Okay. All right. So okay. So
And if you're ever in doubt, just bring me the fabric and say,
Okay.
can you use this? It might be a small piece, like just the arms or just the legs, depending. I might just
because
do the
now
label.
this little guy, the legs are one kind of fabric, and then the arms are another kind of fabric.
Yeah.
And then he's got eyes, so
Yep.
he does see. The other,
does.
And then you've got these little ears, these adorable little ears. But then the bears who do not have eyes and ears have got eyes and noses and things, mouths. They've got these little fat ears, really fat little guys.
Yeah, they gotta, listen really well to everything.
And they're really cute.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. And now this is a bear that's gotten some use.
That particular one? No.
No.
It's a brand new bear. This
So
one
this is a
has gotten
brand new bear.
That one is for
So
sale.
this might be out. Oh, and look at all of the little animals that are there on the side of the bear. The little animals. And in the back, you have really interesting, this little polka dot
Yeah.
front, and then polka dot back, and then all of this little jungle fabric. So there's a lot there. I'm just captivated by this whole thing. There's a lot of feeling in what you produce. There's a lot of, the word that's coming to my mind is temperature. I don't know why I'm thinking that word, but I do know.
Warm fuzzies.
Huh?
Warm fuzzies.
Yes, yes. That everything you do is that way. Even the jewelry that you do it's very, can we see that one little bitty, the one on the end?
This one?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because now this one, and you have absolutely no qualms about adding teeny
Nope.
little intricate details. So you're very detail oriented in your life.
Yes.
And so do you have any, I know that's very early in the season, but I also know from having interviewed a lot of people that you're already thinking about next fall.
Yep.
What are you thinking? The first time I interviewed somebody, and I realized that here it was July, and she was already thinking August and December and through the winter, and I was just barely getting involved in the summer, that I realize now that once you open that tent the first time, the first week, you're already into the winter.
Yeah. I wanna make this a lifestyle. Selling the jewelry, selling the bears. I do actually have a sequel for
Oh, do
this.
you really?
It's not out yet, but I do have one in the works, and I'm also co-authoring a children's book with a friend, and that'll be about bullying.
Bullying?
Yes.
Oh, that's very interesting. I've known several people, I've interviewed several people who have written books about bullying. And I have some Reiki students. I have a Reiki student that's written books about bullying. And I know when you write a children's book, what age are you looking at?
I'm looking at the elementary age, anywhere from K to 5.
So not quite a chapter, but well, K to 5th grade, that would include chapters.
Picture books. Kind of like the Berenstain Bear style,
Okay.
where it's a longer story, but it has a lot of good meaning and detail.
Yes,
And
because
message.
those books, I have learned, because I started at one point to write a children's book about the food pantry, and the mathematics that was involved in putting together each page, and numbering the words on each page, and of course all of this had been laid out ahead of time for me, but I had to discover that, and I never did get it published.
Well, now it's time to do it.
No, I'm off on another. I'm writing a tarot book now. My third tarot book. And when I write books, you're doing the same thing. You told me you have the follow on, and you also have the children's book. So you're working. I have my follow-on is the tarot book. And then I'm writing a book about Mary Magdalene.
Oh.
Yes, I wrote one book about Jesus Christ, and now I'm writing, but I have to finish the tarot book. And the tarot book is gripping. You know, it's just part of your life.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the writing is part of your life now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are some days I just, pardon the expression, I like word vomit onto whatever, you know, the computer or my phone or sometimes actual pencil and paper, because I'll get an idea and I'm like, I gotta get it out right now, and I'll scribble it out, and my husband will ask me something. I'm like, nope, don't interrupt, just go away.
Some famous woman, I cannot remember her name, said that as a young mother, a writer can write books and do one other thing and nothing more.
That's for her.
I agree. I agree. It worked for her. It worked for her. You know, she published something that was this thick, and I'm sure it was a fabulous, fabulous book. But at the same time, I do many things. And I found that I do best when I can write about 200 or 300 words at a time. And after that, it's time to move on and come back later.
I just write until the words stop flowing easily.
You haven't figured out how many numbers that is?
No,
What
I
number that is?
just write until I basically am like typing away, and then all of a sudden when I have to start thinking, and it's like, what am I trying to say? And it's like, all right, I'm done. It could be
Right.
100 words, could be 1,000 words.
Oh yeah, no, I usually can do couple of 300 words very quickly. I know that my first book. Have you ever blogged a book?
I have not.
I blogged my first book, and I found that by blogging it, I could tell I had a much better chapter sense. And then, of course, I don't know what would happen if somebody blogged a book today. I don't know. It's been a long time. That book went out to 14 different countries, but blogging was relatively new then. And blogging is different now, and I'm not sure that people even blog very much anymore.
I don't think so. I think they do a lot of like Instagram and.
Right, they do other things. They do, and now, of course, we have people interviewing people, like I interview you, and then it goes out.
Podcasting too,
Yeah.
also very popular.
And there's dozens and hundreds and thousands of podcasts, and there's fewer. There's a lot fewer, I think, blogs. Although I don't know. I know that my blogs definitely have readers, and it was very important to me in the beginning because this book had not been published yet. It was important for me to understand who was reading it, and I could check the background of the WordPress and find out where the story was going. And of course now I don't even know. To me now that I blog it, it's just to have a history for myself.
A record.
If somebody, because then I have my book. I have seeds, of chapters. And then if somebody reads it, fine, but I'm not.
You said your book is in 14 countries?
My first one went out into 14 different countries before it was ever published.
Wow. I would love to get my book out into other countries as well. And I also want to do public speaking about my book. Because when I went through my termination for medical reasons and then the pregnancy afterwards, there was just, the healthcare providers were just so aloof. They didn't really know how to work with me. And
that's because you're dealing with such a heavy subject. You know, that's a
Yeah.
very difficult subject.
Imagine being the person dealing with it.
And you know, people don't know, well, how's she going to react 15 minutes from now? And they're afraid of it. And frankly, I don't know. I don't know. There are some states are so sensitive that if somebody produces a show, a podcast in which they talk to you about this, I don't know, are the cops going to come? You know, it's a very, very sensitive subject.
It is. It's a very hot topic.
And when I was going to writing school, the teacher said, hey, if it's a sensitive subject, if it's going to wind you up in jail, march right in. Go for it. You know, okay, all right, well, but you don't have to spend the night there.
Then you have another story.
Yeah, that was, all of my teachers felt that, you know. But then you have, you know, and then of course I had to learn to write things. But in your case, have you tried to read your story to somebody?
In the medical field?
Anywhere. Have you tried, let me ask you something. Have you tried to read your story or give a talk about your story at the library?
Not yet. I am trying to start my own podcast about my book so that I can kind of get into
Have you gone anywhere on that?
So I did have a podcast. It was on Libsyn for a while, and it unfortunately did fall to the wayside, and life happened, so I kind of put it on the back burner, and I had to focus on teaching and other
I'm going
stuff.
to suggest to you a woman in Palinville by the name of Lucy Swinson.
Okay.
And she runs a company that she's had for a gazillion years called The Turning Mill. And she's in Palinville. And she really tried to get me to do a podcast. And I just would not. And I know now we were talking about the wrong book. I wrote a book called Healer's Handbook, which went out to a lot of different countries. But it was a lot of lists. It was not a good reading thing. And I did read parts of that book to try to see how we could do this. And it was just, it upset the text. It was, it was not right. I think Lucy would love this.
I would love to.
Yes, pick up the phone and call her. Lucy Swinson, The Turning Mill. I think she would do very, very well. Lucy has published all of my books.
Okay.
And when I got ready to do my blog, she set up my blog. And it was a WordPress blog, and she set it up. And everything, because I'm not mechanical at all. But yeah, there is a true future for you in this book.
Thank you.
No, there really is.
Thank
The
you.
subject itself, if you could find the time to send short letters to women who have made it to the television,
Yeah.
because it's real, and
is.
we have them, and women everywhere for centuries and centuries have been hiding the loss.
Yes.
Put it in a pocket and go along.
Brush it off and keep going.
Yeah.
And that's part of my mission is I want to make this taboo topic in a table
Absolutely.
I want to turn it from a taboo topic to a table conversation where we can just sit down and talk about it.
That's a
Because-
that's a long
Well, we got to start somewhere.
you have to start somewhere. You have this booth. You have a place at the Mowers Meadow,
Mhm.
and then you've got the winter to to take the thoughts that have come to you in the summer and see what you can do to make them work. Because you can try all kinds of things. You have the luxury there.
Yes.
You've got the book. And it's certainly not out of style, not out of date for
Like
sure.
you said, this has been going on.
Oh,
Forever.
since we're down to 5 minutes. Okay, very quickly, we're down to 5 minutes. Tell people your name, how they can reach you, where you can be, the name of your book, all of those things.
Okay, again, I am Grace Peterson, and you can reach me on Instagram and Facebook at Grace Peterson RBM. RBM stands for Rainbow Baby Moms. And you can get the book on Amazon, and you can also get it at the Mowers Flea Market. And coming soon will be my website, Giggle and Poo, where you can get the jewelry, the teddy bears, and then also I have a shop on Etsy called GPE Designs, which is where you'll see a lot of this other jewelry, and you can message me through any of those platforms. And my regular email is gracepeterson5119@gmail.com.
5119.
Yes.
That's interesting. Well, thank you so much. This has been a great show. And thank you, Ellen. This is perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And in spite of all of the things...